My first question is, how is your law school experience?
So I did my 3 years law from Campus Law Center, Delhi University. And it was quite a change, a drastic change from my graduation college. So I did my graduation in political science from Lady Shri Ram, and then I had to move to North Campus for CLC. So of course, the whole culture was different, and it took, of course, some time to adapt to the different setup. But once you were a part of CLC, CLC embraced you, and it was a great experience. It has one of its kind study materials, which I'm sure people will be aware of. So we don't have books or anything prescribed as such. We used to read case materials, cases, different cases, and gist of different cases to understand a law subject. So of course it was very interesting, and then I think that's where your analytical brain started functioning as a student. Uh, that what all possible arguments can be advanced from either side, and how will the judges probably react, how should you address the court. uh, it was a great experience, great learning experience at CLC.
So, what motivated you to choose law as your career option?
I was pretty clear in my head since I was a kid that I want to opt for law as my career choice. uh, Also, given the fact that from a family of lawyers, of course not my father, but yes, my grandfather and my uncles, and seeing all those books since you were a kid, and seeing clients come to you, uh, come to, of course, my elders in the family, reposing so much faith in someone for their uh, you can say dear matters, property, or anything of that sort. So, of course, it came across as a very noble profession since I was a kid. So, it made a huge impact on my mind, and I thought, I think this is what I should do.
What difficulties were faced by you while pursuing legal career, and how did you overcome those?
So, legal career starting from the inception. So, once you are a law graduate, you either have a job or you start looking for a job. Specifically, if you're not from a national law school, in CLC, we did not have so many placements happening when I graduated. So, of course, it was on our own shoulders to look for a job. So, yes, the first impediment was to look for a job. The second one, of course, uh, how much will you be paid? The remuneration. So, when you start as a fresher, apart from the theoretical knowledge that you have, you do not have the exact practical knowledge that's required to be at a good position in a chamber practice or in a law firm. So yes, you started with a little low remuneration, but of course that keeps on increasing, and then of course, then you keep progressing in your career. I think that's how it starts. And then, of course, uh, what was on my mind specifically, which I would also like to share with young aspirants, whoever want to uh, take up litigation or work in the field of law, that you should always strive for uh, bettering your own self, your knowledge. And of course, everything keeps moving towards perfection. Nothing is constant. So keep striving towards developing your skills, abilities, keep striving towards having a better matter, being a part of a better matter. So I think that all combines and ultimately counts in the later years a lot. So see, the first thing, of course, I would say is getting a job and getting job satisfaction. So, when you're a fresher and there's a lot of supply, and the demand, of course, curve is a little on the lower side than the supply. Not many people are from Delhi who practice here. So, given all these factors, I think it's very difficult for a young law aspirant to get that job which can sustain the person, sustain the household, sustain the work requirements. Sometimes you need to run with, say, 10 files, and you probably feel the need to have a vehicle at your disposal. But of course, you can't always go to your mother and father. So yes, it takes time, but gradually everything falls into place, I believe. It's a very rewarding profession.
So, according to you, what are the important skills that a law student should attain from having a chance at top law firm?
top law firm. By that, I think you mean the A tier. And of course, we can reach the B also, even they are doing pretty good. See, so as a law student, when you are pursuing law, self-development is the most important thing, I believe. You have to develop your research skills. You have to develop your analytical skills that can only come through extensive reading. So suppose if you have to say work on a topic and you do a simple Google search or a Manupatra search and you find something that's in your favor, and many people leave it at that point. What I would suggest is do not leave it at that point. Go to the second, third, and the fourth page as well. You might find something more interesting. You might find something against you that in your brain you would want to say counter them. So these skills are very important for a law student because when you're working with an 8-year firm, timelines are very short. There are matters with huge stakes involved, and your seniors in the firm would expect you to be at a certain level, mentally as well as theoretically, so that if you are thrown something, you grab it and you give the best result possible. So you have to be, I believe, a very highly motivated and working intellectually in your brain, because so many times it happens even when we talk. Uh, it happens that suppose you want to say 10 things, but you only say 8 things. So the 2 things you maybe think about it later in your head. Oh, I think I missed those 2 things. I could have said that as well. But this is how you train your brain. Do not miss. Formulate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points are something that I want to put in. I'll put in all 5. So start something like that. Another very important aspect for a law student is writing and your visibility. So if you're writing, say articles, or if you're writing a case summary, a critical analysis maybe, try to get it published. Publication gives you a lot of visibility. And of course, if you're visible, people will contact you. You will probably have a healthy debate with someone on some issue. It really matters for your personal growth as well. And the third thing, when you are writing, do not copy. Do not copy from some source. If you're copying, please give due credits and think beyond what is in front of your eyes, out of the box. Try to manufacture or create your own thought process on the specific point. So once you start doing it, instead of just going by the book or going what probably your teacher is telling you, I think you will start developing skills that an A tier requires or a B tier requires. Because when you're in an interview, they will definitely ask you, are you updated with latest judgments? And if you are updated, you'll be like, yes. Also, one thing is very important. As a law student, nobody expects you to know everything. Because see, law has many specialized areas as well. Nobody expects you to know everything, of course. But whatever papers you choose, ensure that you are abreast with the latest developments, the latest judgments in that particular subject. That really helps, I believe.
What do you think about online dispute resolution development in India?
Oh, it was a great surprise, to be very honest. The way courts have caught up uh, to this change scenario and converting everything to an online model, I think it's quite impressive. Uh, Also, corporate field of law has really developed a lot. You have AIs assisting in due diligences and your various, say, agreements also. However, vis-a-vis litigation is still not on that footing. So people still use hard copies. People prefer paper books. People prefer to print annexures and make notes and reference in the paper books, as you would have witnessed various lawyers during your internships. So I think the sudden change in the dispute resolution practice being online and hearings being conducted through web links and the judges being abreast with all technology, I think it's a great step, and our judiciary as well as the bar has really caught up pretty well to this system.
What tips would you like to give to students about legal writing?
Write extensively and be original. The Specific tips that I want to give is about how you should go about writing a paper, say on any particular issue or topic or case. Keep it short, simple, and crisp. The idea should be not to appeal to only the intellectuals in the field, but to appeal to the numbers, as many as you can. Make it simple, crisp, short, so that even a layman can understand what you're trying to explain, because that's the whole idea of an article. Uh, yes, so I think make your article very precise, crisp, and short, and do not copy it from what others have written. If you are reading a case law and incorporating it in your article, do not just read the case note or say the last portion, the ratio. Try to see how the arguments developed. Try to see what were the peculiar facts of a particular case for which it was distinguished or for which the same precedent was followed as raised precedents are mentioned in the judgment. So I think these are a few writing tips that can come in handy. Also, uh, for law students, don't make it a very long article like your PhD thesis. You will get your opportunity to write a thesis, of course, but the shorter it is, the more appealing it's for whoever is in your contact list or whoever you are sending it across. Because people want to understand things, nobody has that much time these days. So yeah, short, crisp, and simple, original work, and given your own thought process, given your own thoughts, write down whatever you think of it. It may be wrong, it may be right, but so is law. Everything is about interpretation.
How will you give a legal advice to a person who wants to go for litigation with respect to civil case instead of going for arbitration or conciliation?
See, advising a client on the issue of whether he should opt for litigation or ADR, firstly, solely depends upon the dispute and the contract involved. If the contract has an arbitration clause, the parties will have to be referred to arbitration because there is no other way. Otherwise, the other side will come and file a Section 8 and say, this is the agreement. We have an arbitration clause. You can't go to a civil court in a civil suit until unless there's a specific subject matter which has not been referred to arbitration by mutual agreement between the parties. However, in absence of a contract and in absence of any such clause in the agreement, I believe an ADR method is still uh, preferable. It gives parties the flexibility to choose their mode, their timelines, the way they want to be governed, the disputes that they want to refer to the arbitrator. Of course, not strictly governed by CPC. Uh, Arbitration is a little more convenient. You can adduce expert evidence if there's something technical involved in it. Also, a party can be also, I would not use the word saved, but can refrain from paying the huge amount of court fee that you need to pay for a civil commercial matter otherwise, which is around 1% of the disputed amount. So of course arbitration is also pretty expensive, but with the recent amendments and changes in law and the schedules being introduced in 2015, even the fee has been described specifically until unless the parties agree to something else. And I think India is uh, becoming an arbitration friendly jurisdiction now. So why not give parties that flexibility and liberty to arbitrate? And during an arbitration, you can always also go for settlement. So there's no bar. So, when the parties sit across the table without a judge giving you orders and decrees and judgments, the parties are also at an ease and they can always negotiate amongst themselves for settling the matter, which of course is our first approach towards any dispute. Why not sit together, have a mutual discussion, try and see if the matter can be settled without resorting to the legal methods.
So could you please share your experience and journey in Khatan and Company?
Well, Khaitan and Company, I've been with Khaitan and Company for the last 3 years now, almost. A few days left for 3 years to be completed. Uh, it's been a great learning experience. apart from the ease of functioning that Khaitan provides you, uh, it's a great learning experience. The kind of matters, the kind of mentorship that you get, and everybody's mind is working overtime at Khaitan. So there's nobody you will see around that is uh, probably not abreast with the latest developments, or is not writing on something new or old, or interpreting something, or who's not invested into huge piles of documents. So, when around you see that work culture of everybody being so uh, loving and concentrated towards what they're doing, even you from your uh, inner soul want to uh, maybe achieve that level of intelligence, or it's basically about how you see others, and you also want to do something good. So it comes out automatically at Khaitan. Also, regarding the ease of functioning part, uh, I think Khaitan really invests on taking care of its resources. So we have things like an excellent HR team. We have any issues, you go to the HR. Even confidential issues will be kept confidential. If you're stressed, we have a specific platform for that as well. You keep, and usually it happens. You keep working overnight. You are sitting in office till late hours. So Khaitan will ensure that you get people who don't have their vehicles, you get your cab back. Or if you don't want to drive, they will provide you with transportation. They'll provide you with whatever you need, coffee, chai, food. So Khaitan is one employer who really takes care of its resources, and I think that's why also it is one of the best. And why do people want to choose Khaitan over others? So yes, of course, there is competition. There is lots of work that everybody is continuously doing, even during these times. So nobody is free. But Khaitan takes care pretty well. Experience with Khaitan has been pretty good so far.
So, what tips and advices would you like to give to law students who want to work in litigation specifically?
Well, I think combining with the first few questions which you had put forward, develop your skills, develop your own skills, uh, develop your own CV. If you write articles, if you moot, if you are, say, doing various diploma courses, it'll only add to your CV and help you in the longer run. And in litigation, especially if you want to pursue litigation, uh, please extensively intern, because that's when you get to see what happens in court actually. That's when you get to see actual case files, when you read actual case files, when you see how arguments are developed. Or if you get a chance, you probably also go with your team for briefing a senior. What are the discussions? uh, I think these things are very important if you want to pursue litigation. Intern extensively. In my 3 years of law school, because also CLC gave me that flexibility to intern in the second half of the day. We had classes from 8 to 1, which was almost like 11 or 12 every day, not that we had it till 1 every day. So, yes, I think I interned for 3 years extensively without any breaks, and that really helped my understanding of courts, including procedural work like filing. So suppose if you're an intern at Khaitan or any other law firm, and you tell your team members that, oh, there's a filing, I can help you with the filing. I know how to do it. So if you're taking this burden off their head, do you understand how valuable will you be to them? And then the chances of PPO also increases, to say so. So yes, work yourself up, because these are the few initial years where you can develop your brain, your work ethics, and that really helps in the longer run.
Lastly, what are your views about this initiative of law community of sharing experiences with budding lawyers?
See, I think it's a great initiative, and there's a reason why we call this community as a fraternity or slash sorority, to say so, because you know uh, we are members of the same bar, and everybody is equal at the bar. So And as you can see, everybody also helps each other. Even when arguments are going on in a court, people don't fight amongst each other. We are all members of the bar. And to help and guide upcoming members of the bar, I think it's a pleasure for any current member of the bar. And I think it will really help younger aspirants to uh, devise their own ways and methodologies. How do they want to go forward with things in their life? Go for litigation, go for corporate. Because when you are a law student, things get confusing sometimes. You really don't know what should you opt for, or what kind of a job will be best suited. So it's better to, of course, take suggestions and advice from whoever has been there and is in the field already. I think it's a great initiative by you people, and I'm sure you would be learning a lot more than when compared to as when you were not doing such a thing. So I think it's a great initiative from you guys, and keep it up, please.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having such
Most welcome.
action with us, and it will definitely gonna benefit a lot of young minds. And we are delighted to have time with you. And law community is great
My
to
pleasure.
thank you so much, ma'am.
My pleasure. Thank you.